Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
And actually, let's go ahead and start there. Hi, everyone. I am Sid Part 2. Joining me today is Steve Baxi and Milan Jeftik.
What's up?
I am the Batman.
And I am the man with the mental illness.
So you're Batman, too.
I suppose so. I am all the Batman. Condensed into one. I'm Grant Morrison's Batman.
And I am just a normal dude that doesn't have any significant mental problems.
You
and
poor
today
fuck.
on Geeky Gentlemen, we will be discussing Nazis. Yay, Nazis!
Yay! Oh God. You see, so for all those who do not know, we are all part of the Bavarian Brotherhood. I know, us being geeky gentlemen of a mixed race, that might seem a little bit odd, but yes, we are, Heil Hitler and all that stuff. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Heil Hitler and all that stuff. I don't think I've ever heard it put that way. Yeah, that's the question. Does Nazi society, if it were able to continue on past Hitler, does it just get kind of like, do you lose the enthusiasm over time? Just like, yeah, Heil, all that, yeah,
Yeah. You just know eventually that will happen, and that
that's
would.
what I need to see. I need to see apathetic Nazi.
That is a sentence. That is a thing that should happen. That should have happened. All the horror and pain would have been worth it if we saw that. That is comedic gold.
I know about 3 million Jews who disagree with that, but...
Oh, okay. Well,
3 million? So I guess we should kind of get this out of the way off the bat. We're going to be talking about Nazis in historical context a little bit, but we're mainly going to be focusing on how they were actually portrayed in fiction. From when they were a thing of actual power till today, and when they're I guess they're still somewhat powerful in different little pockets of the world, but they don't have any real political power.
Well, depending on if you watch Fox News or not.
and expect Milan to make a bunch of cheap right-wing jokes.
That's surprising. Yeah, because I'm supposed to be Russian, and we're the apparently all the right-wing people are literally just chronically masturbating at mass towards Putin and asking why isn't Obama more like Putin? Oh,
Okay. Anyway, so I do think we're gonna try to get this out of the way early on. We're gonna be talking about Nazis, and I don't think we're gonna say anything good about them.
Ian is involved, so he might kind of say something vaguely not bad about Nazis.
I mean, I'll say, objective things, speaking in historical context, perhaps, but nothing about, how they're not awful, from an objective moral stance.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, we're not going to be saying anything good about them, I guess, but, obviously, spoiler alert, the Nazis did awful, awful things that, at any cost, I would like to go back in time and stop. But side note, you ever get the chance to time travel, and your immediate thing is not stop the Holocaust, you're a terrible person.
You see, the thing, funny you should say that. See, I, recently went back in time to try to kill Hitler, but weirdly enough, just, like, no matter how hard I tried, like, somehow things just kind of, like, Looney Tune physics came into play, and no matter what I tried...
stealing my jokes.
I'm not stealing your jokes, I'm quoting real life, the thing that really happened to me.
Yeah, shut up.
And,
anyway.
I tried to kill him, and nothing happened. He always managed to get away.
He bounced around the room and then shot me in the foot. It was weird.
Exactly.
I mean, you could just do what Doctor Who does and lock Hitler in a closet for however long that works.
Yeah, get in the closet, Hitler. Why do I have to go in the closet? There's this really great... I did a video on this forever ago, actually. There's this picture... was like a sign that was put out in America about, fuel rationing to, so we could have some for the tanks and stuff. And so there's this propaganda sign that said, when you ride alone, you ride with Hitler. And the joke that I always think of whenever I see that sign is, couldn't I change the radio? It's a really dumb joke.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
essentially, what we're talking about is how Nazis have kind of become the whack-a-mole in popular culture.
I don't think that's what. I guess that's going to come up, but I don't think that's the only thing we're going to be talking.
Well, not
about.
Not at all.
But like, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Is obviously they did terrible things, but since talking about the Holocaust is, I guess, a bit of a downer, we're gonna not bring it up constantly.
Kind of do what the comic books did in the 40s and just pretend it didn't happen.
Oh, totally. Oh, wow, that made me sad.
No, we're not going to pretend it didn't happen, but it's not going to be the focus, because I don't think there will ever be a Geeky Gentleman on the Holocaust, because you can't do that.
Well, we kind of already did that in the My Little Pony video, didn't we?
We talked about the, pony Holocaust.
A Holocaust is still a...
Holocaust?
Oh, yes.
Well, the weird thing about My Little Pony is if you watch it, none of the male ponies are anything, of significant role. They're only, they're acting basically just like magical horses in that show, and all the female ponies totally run the society. So, there's gotta have been this really weird, slaving system put into place.
No, it's just a matriarchal...
Where men are, subservient.
No, basically what happened is it's a matriarchal culture. All the feminists took over, and now all the men are just used for breeding and heavy labor.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The way God intended.
So anyway, we're gonna try and talk about Nazis without being too offensive to Jewish people. I should have brought the Jew on for this. That would have been a good idea if it didn't just occur to me. Oh, well.
And by the way, the Jew is a nickname that the Jew called
the guy
himself.
gave himself the damn nickname. I'm not ever apologizing for that.
And apparently he looks like the Jew, like the stereotypical Jew that was fed to, Aryan children back during the day.
No, there's this movie called Swing Kids, and you get to see, the education of the Hitler Youth and, this montage kind of thing. And one picture shows the teacher with, a drawing of the Jew with all the, quote-unquote racial markers to be able to tell that they're Jewish. It's widow's peak, big nose, big ears, warts, very stereotypical Jewish things that racist people think of. And I swear to God, Chris looks exactly like it.
Thus proving the Nazis correct.
At 18, he looked exactly like that fucking picture. Just minus the fucking curls down the side of the head. So yeah, that was a thing. But yes, my friend Chris gave himself the nickname of the Jew, which he stole from his older brother, who also used the nickname the Jew, and so we call him the Jew.
So hold on.
Every time someone hears it for the first time, heads turn.
No. So basically,
I think it's ultimately a good thing.
Yeah, you know what? If we had the Jew here, we would have the Russian, the Spaniard, the Jew, and the white lily man from America.
See, your thing kind of broke down there about at the end.
What racial epithet can I attribute you to, Maxie?
How about the kind that focuses on Nazis?
The cracker. How about that?
Okay, anyway, so where do we want to start? Steve, you've been pretty quiet so far, so why don't you get us started on this one?
Well, there's lots of ways to go with Nazis. Do we want to start something a little bit more historical and how Nazis weren't seen as evil, per se, until, like, Charlie Chaplin and the Great Dictator, and for a little while it was something that no one wanted to mention, really, but it was still there.
Oh, definitely. They had, like, fucking Nazi parties in America and all over the world.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Hitler was named Man of the Year in Time magazine at some point, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Time has never apologized for that, and I don't think they should. Because at that time, you know, he was the biggest guy in the world, basically.
Yeah. And didn't he?
And they didn't fucking know, so.
Yeah. And didn't he fucking open one of the Olympics, The
1936 Olympics, I think, were held in Berlin.
So
and there's this really great fucking clip of the French army, like, doing goose-stepping and doing the, you know, Nazi salute to Hitler as they pass, and then the American army is the next one to go. Or not American army, American athletes, French athletes, the next one to go, and they don't fucking salute or anything. They just walk normally, and the Nazis were all pissed off. Shit.
You know, funny thing is, back in America, back in the 1920s, I think it was, or even before then, yeah, the Sig Heil was how you just did that to a flag, and then the Nazis started doing it, and the Americans were like, yeah, let's not do that anymore.
Well, every time we went to war with Germany, America just ignored the fact that Germans had any influence in America whatsoever, and they started naming things differently, like Freedom Dogs, and anyone with a last name that was German would change it to something uber-American.
Like,
I'm George. Why we have so many Smiths?
Yeah. I'm Dr. Frederick Frager. Oh, no, Nazis.
Frankenstein. It's pronounced Frankenstein.
Yeah. Steen. Frankenstein. Yeah.
No, but go on, Steve, please. I'm curious where you're going with this one.
Well, I guess I was just kind of going in the direction that there was a lot of interesting political things going on in Germany before the whole Holocaust and World War II and the final solution.
I mean, like, the funny thing is, everyone, like, I always hear political history people and just historians in general say, you know, Hitler, Steve just dropped, you know, Hitler was a really good leader before the war started. He was actually doing a lot of good for the country. You know, if you ignore the fact that he was putting large portions in ghettos and all that.
Definitely.
And, like, but the thing that no one realizes is, like, the Autobahn is the example everyone points to. That was in the plans way before he came into power, and he just happened to be there once it was finished. So he gets to take credit for it, and there's just a lot of, like, coincidences like that really legitimated his rule. Because, you know, the German government wasn't just, like, sitting there on their hands while their fucking economy was collapsing. They were trying to find ways out of it. Just Hitler happened to come to power before any of that shit came into effect.
Definitely. And for all those who don't know yet, Hitler was actually a time traveler. That's how he managed to, not die and take advantage of the situation in Germany at that time.
All right, do you have anything useful to add?
Well, for one, like you said before, Hitler, I'm gonna say something positive about Hitler, and for that I shall cut one of my fingers off as for punishment. But yeah, like you said, like, before the whole let's kill the world thing, he did took Germany from the brink of complete...
No, he didn't. That's the point I just made, is he did not really do anything that he got credit for.
Oh, in that case, he's a crazy motherfucker.
A lot of that shit was already in place before he came into power, and just didn't happen to take effect until after he was in power. So he got to take credit for a lot of it. If you were paying attention, you would have heard the point I just made.
Hey guys, my internet just died randomly.
It's cool.
I was just talking about how a lot of the things Hitler was given credit for, he really wasn't responsible for. It was kind of in place before he took over.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the positive things.
Well, the cool thing about, well, not cool, but like the interesting thing about Hitler was that the German government was so broken after World War I. So when Hitler rose to power through all those cracks, he purposely went back and sealed them so it couldn't happen again.
Yeah.
Which was a lot. It was really fascinating how he just really slowly consolidated power to himself. Mm-hmm. And no one really saw it coming.
You know those times
Except
in
for
history...
Winston Churchill, who apparently has a damn crystal ball.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
He didn't feel the need to share.
Yeah, but, you know, everyone has those people that say, oh, this man's going to take over the world. Rah! But, you know, like, yo...
I suppose that's true. I mean, it doesn't help that, you know, Churchill did it twice, and still, you know, like, you know, Hitler's gonna fuck everything up. Oh, Winston, you're just a crazy old man. Stalin is going to kill everybody. Oh, Winston, you're just a crazy old man. That's not gonna happen. He was our ally.
Yeah, Stalin, he was...
Bugger all!
Yeah. Did you realize that, like, apparently my mom didn't know that Stalin and Hitler were at one point allies.
They were never allies.
Well, they were friendly before Hitler fucked over Stalin.
No, they weren't.
They hated each other.
What you're talking about is the Soviet-German Non-Aggression Pact, or the Molotov-Kolsky Pact, which just said, we will not attack each other while we're attacking Poland. That was it.
Yeah, Hitler hated Stalin, and Stalin equally hated Hitler.
Oh.
I mean, it's communism and fascism. They're completely separate ideologies that the basis for is completely opposite.
I'm not saying they were like, hey, let's go for a picnic, Stalin. I'm not saying that.
Well, no, they were never military allies or anything.
Oh, okay, then.
They were never friendly, anything like that. They hated each other. They just agreed not to attack each other because they both knew there was territory in them for them.
But dude, in Russian,
knew there was territory if they didn't.
In the Russian context, that makes them like as close as brothers. I will promise not to slave your. I promise not to kill you. You are like my brother, you know.
Okay. That's really so enlightening about Russian culture now.
Oh yeah. Apparently, like, you know,
Stalin was good leader. He put you in a work camp in Siberia for 20 years. Yes, but did not shoot me. It was good man.
Funny enough, that's just how, like, oh my god, that you're sounding like my stepfather now.
Oh, good.
And one more little thing, for a little, like, modern day sight into the minds of middle-aged Russian people. Every time my mom hears, like, news of, you know, of that whole shit that's going on in Ukraine, she bursts into tears and curses Obama. She goes like, oh, stupid Americans, how dare they dress up and like she thinks everything that ever happened to Russia, everything bad, was all orchestrated by the American government. Everything bad, all America's fault.
Okay. We might end up doing a video just on fucking, like, Cold War spies and just communism versus capitalism.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
You know, that's a very good foreshadowing, but we'll mention that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and get back into Nazis. So, yeah, I mean, it's so weird. Hitler is just one of those guys, right place, right time, and horrible ideology to put into power, isn't he?
It is, and if you think about it, he's a no-name fucking painter. That's kind of fucked up. He's the guy at that, like, artsy-fartsy, you know, hipster place that sells his paintings. Like, hello.
No, he's more of the homeless guy on the street who's like, hey, buy my painting.
Exactly. He's like that guy. He's like, hey, buy my paintings. Nah, no thanks. You want to become, like, the leader of our country? Oh, sure. I hate Jews, by the way. Awesome.
That's exactly how it happened.
Well,
no, that's exactly
Hitler,
how
it took
it
a long time for Hitler to get into power. He constantly lost the elections until there was a point where no one was good and Hitler was the only choice.
Well, like, what you gotta remember is the dude got arrested for trying to stage a rebellion.
Yeah, he did.
And it's so weird, because he plans a rebellion out of the back of a bar, he gets arrested. Odd little alternate history fact, when Hitler was put in handcuffs, arrested and stuff like that, the police actually stopped him from committing suicide at the time. So there's a little interesting, you know, Thanks, cops. Look at the world right there. But anyway, so like...
So yeah, that's why police officers must never intervene in suicide attempts.
Well, no, that's not what I'm making out. But anyway, no, it's just one of those little interesting alternate history things. But we have a guy who tried to overthrow the government in an all-out rebellion, but it failed because the military faction that he had lined up backed out at the last possible second without telling him. And so he gets arrested, spends, like, I think a year or so in jail, writes Mein Kampf, and then goes into politics and eventually ends up taking over the entire country. And when that sounds like such a crazy situation, but you look at Castro, and it's almost the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's
Tries
true.
to take over the country, rebellion fails, goes to jail, gets out, takes over the country. Admittedly, he did it with a second rebellion, but still.
Yeah, and if you take like the opposite view of that, like not evil or crazy, like never mind, I forgot his name.
Well, I like that you mentioned Castro in a second rebellion, because one of the smarter policies that Hitler had about rebellion is that you shouldn't stage one when you're without power, because that's what got him caught. You should stage one when you're in power. And to an extent, Hitler going to politics and creating like almost his posse of SS and his Spetsnaz and all that stuff, it's kind of a second rebellion.
Yeah, it really is. Because, the Nazis organized all these walkouts in the middle of things so no votes would happen. Oh, just like the Tea Party.
Oh my God, the Nazis were the Tea Party of their day.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You look at what fucking Mussolini did to rise to power, and it's almost... It's funny, because, like, the Mussolini organized just this giant rally that walked down the middle of, basically, like, the capital street in front of the king, prince, whatever it is. And the guy was like, okay, we're getting some of these guys into office because this is obviously the voice of the people. So all these people came into office, and then no one in the political system could control them at all. And then Mussolini became, Mussolini. So there's your more apt comparison in history to the Tea Party.
Mussolini was such a fucking peacock.
Well, the weird thing is Hitler wrote Mussolini fan letters before he rose to power. Yeah, Hitler was this huge Mussolini fan, and he was like in love with him and awe of him the first time that they actually met once Hitler did get into power. And then as the war dragged on, you could just like get the sense from Hitler's writings and stuff on Mussolini is like just got so disillusioned. It's like, my fucking God, this guy's an idiot.
Oh my God! Do you think Hitler wrote Mussolini / Hitler fan fiction?
I hope not.
I don't think it would have been slash. But,
slash fiction. That's the right. Like that exists somewhere on the internet. Mussolini Hitler / fiction exists. My God, just burn the internet alive. Somebody, please.
Okay. Alright, what else about the history of... Alright, so we've mostly been talking about Hitler's rise to power and the Nazis taking over. I guess the next logical step is to move into, like, the beginnings of the war?
Yeah, I guess before we mention that, I do really want to just say really quickly that it was interesting how the comic books of those times predicted a lot of the events of the war before they even happened.
Oh yeah, comic books do that all the fucking time. Like during 9/11, comic books had like, oh, a plane flies into a tower. Or,
Oh, yeah, because that's, like, the most unbelievable thing. It's not like it wasn't...
I know. Like, in one of, like, in a Superman issue, there was actually, literally, even in during this same month, there was an issue where the Twin Towers were on fire in the Superman comic, and they didn't release it because I'm like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? How does that happen? It's so fucking weird. Comic books are just, like, I'm not saying there's anything supernatural about them, but I'm just like... fucking comic books predict the future.
Yeah, and
anyways,
Captain America predicted Pearl Harbor a few months before that happened, which was interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe the collective voice of the people mind thing. I don't know, bullshit.
Milan, you need to get a t-shirt that says, I don't know, bullshit. Anyway, Steve, go on with what you were saying about like what about World War II did the comics predict besides Pearl Harbor? I guess.
Okay, yeah. Well, obviously there was that Pearl Harbor example, and there was actually a really interesting comic. It was one of those, not Sergeant Rock, but like with that other World War II hero that was famous back in the 40s. That predicted the Japanese internment camps. And it was interesting because it was the exact opposite stance people would take on that.
Was it portrayed in a positive way, like, oh, we're going to get all the Japanese into camps, kids?
Yeah, that was the thing. It was written with the Japanese drawn with like the bucktooth fang kind of stereotype that they would later be drawn when the war actually started.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, Captain America, of course, was just littered with stuff like that. Like Operation Torch and stuff like that was all happening in the comics before we saw it in the war.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up. Like, most Asian people are just fucking gorgeous-looking cherubs of adorableness. And how can you possibly see them as these yellow-skinned, bucktooth monstrosities? What the fuck?
Because racism doesn't make sense?
Fair enough.
How can you say that? How can you say that, Ian? God, you're so.
Racism isn't based on facts or logic, Milan. Hate to burst your bubble.
You're so racist against racists, Ian. God.
Yes, I am. I am a racist against racists. No, but that is interesting, though, that comics are able to predict a lot of the events of World War II, and I'm curious how much of it is just people that like kind of were able to see the workings, because I don't know, I guess I've kind of had moments like that where I'm like, oh, this is gonna end so badly. I'm watching events in the news unfold and stuff,
right?
Because like, you gotta remember, it's not like Pearl Harbor was a complete unexpected, this came out of nowhere thing. 9/11 definitely was to a certain extent.
Well, even that's kind of been debated the same way Pearl Harbor has been, because there are records of warning signals months before that happened.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean like, we were doing economic sanctions against Japan. We were like, because of all the shit they were doing in China, we were like actively, trying to like limit them, and there's a lot of debate about whether or not FDR was trying to goat them into an attack so that he could declare war. But we were actively trying to, prevent them from their attacks on China and the rest of the Asian islands and stuff, like the Philippines. And it's because of that they attacked. So it's not unconceivable that they would attack.
No, it's not. It's interesting that it was predicted the way it was, because historically, Pearl Harbor is the kind of thing that everyone says that we're a blindside, even though that's not completely true.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that you pointed out the stuff about FDR, because it's kind of a Bismarck German strategy to do that, goat someone into a battle so you can unite your own country and become stronger. Like, that's the whole reason Germany was founded. And it destabilized the balance of power the same way America's sole superpowerness after the Second World War destabilized the balance of power. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
Yeah. But I guess back to Nazis, because Nazis were portrayed... I guess the foundation for them as Milan likes to call him, the world's bad guy, really did start in the comics of World War II more than anything else, right?
Yep.
Like, because there was newspaper, there was, like, the newsreels and the propaganda and stuff, but I think the thing that really informed everything else was the comic books.
Yeah, they were gigantic back then, selling millions and millions of copies, being sent to soldiers during the war and stuff, and just Nazis were everywhere, and we just kept fighting them issue to issue, even though the war would end, like, after a couple pages in the comics.
It's interesting. I wonder who... here's a really weird question. I wonder who made more swastikas, and by that I just mean a printed swastika, single instance of a printed swastika on any surface, during the course of World War II. The Germans or the Americans with their millions of comic books sold?
Oh, well,
that's a good question.
That's a good question, but if you think about it, like, the reason there's so much vitriol in the comic books is because many of the comic book publishers were of Jewish descent. and they're like getting news of like all their families are being disappeared off the streets of Germany, and they're like fucking Nazis. Like there's a really good book called The Escapist. It's written by Michael Chabon, and essentially it's a retelling of the history of comic books done, this kind of this like Jack Kirby, Mr. Simon type of creative team, and these like two Jewish boys creating this character called The Escapist. And it's kind of like a retelling of the history, like an alternative history of comic books. And it's kind of it's a history lesson, but you kind of get a look at what some of those creators went through, and the sensibility of like most of these guys were drawing Captain America, and they got new, like they actually had this. At some point, Jack Kirby actually, Nazis came to the Timely Studios and wanted to beat the shit out of the guy who created Captain America, and Jack Kirby kind of went down and beat the shit out of them, and like that's Jack Kirby's a fucking badass, but pulled up his sleeves and beat the shit out of him, and they referenced that, and that book talks about the thoughts and how people felt about Nazis at the time. And that's why there's just so much fucking grotesque, violent imagery portrayed to Nazis, in the comics. So you have people fucking tearing torsos out and shit. You had the same shit with the Japanese caricatures, but you also had that with the Nazis, like Captain America beheading a motherfucker and just punching a guy's head into the ground until it's like a mush. And it's like you.
Quick note: I just love the USO show scene in the first Captain America movie where they reference the comic book cover.
Oh, yeah.
And then we actually get to see the comic book cover in canon and everything. That was really cool.
Oh, it was. And then it led to that awesome line of, I punched Hitler out over 200 times.
I've personally socked Hitler on the jaw 200 times. It's like, that's a qualified motherfucker.
If you think about it, is that really how, they're thinking, does this motherfucker just parachute into Germany? Just, Hitler's coming out, on his balcony, just to, it's an early morning, it's and here comes Captain America, boom, it just flies off. What the fuck?
Just punches him, every day and doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Which actually makes him less qualified when you think about it.
It's just we can get you anytime we want, motherfucker.
But we're gonna let you kill millions of people. Oh, shit. It's really fucking funny in a fucked up way. Captain America just doesn't have the balls to finish it, I suppose. Anyway, at least Superman, brought Hitler to Geneva and everything. Actually, speaking of which, I got to show off that panel of Superman bringing Hitler and Stalin to the Geneva Conventions, pre the very beginning of World War II.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, him and Stalin just
I got to show that off in class.
Yeah. He kind of grabbed them by the scruff of the neck and brought them to Geneva, and they're just standing around like just angry children, What
the fuck are we supposed to do here? There's no one to murder.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it that comic, or was it later comics that forced Hitler to come out and call Superman a Jew?
I don't know. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, it's interesting, because comic books are so big that, the Nazi government actually had to comment on their portrayal of Nazism.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it happened during war or pre-war, but if it was that issue that ignited, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, Hitler, Superman was created by Jews, and the thing that's really interesting when you think about it is Superman. That was the whole thing Hitler was striving for.
Yeah.
And yet he's created by these two Jewish writers, so if it weren't for that fact, you can really imagine Hitler trying to gravitate toward that. It's look at the Americans, they idolize the Superman, and that is the Germans. You could totally see Hitler saying something like that if it weren't for the fact that he was created by Jewish guys.
Yeah, that's really true.
So it's an interesting little parallel there, and I still don't think Superman is, the Ubermensch that, people always say that he is, because, he's not a human, first and foremost. So that's problematic to me. But anyway. So, all right. So, World War II with the Nazis, though, it's just like. So, do you think their portrayal during the war got like more villainous than before the war, or do you think that it kind of maintained the same level?
No, I think at some point, like, it kind of became too real. I mean, you get the initial like blast of fervent Jewish hatred for the Nazis, and then like maybe. Some people, like after the Superman thing, people thought, like, yeah, we can't have him just fly in and do the job of real soldiers. Because they thought it was kind of a little bit too, like, these people...
It's insulting.
Yeah, it's a little bit too real to just do that. But they still got the, like, Captain America beating the shit out of Nazis, like left and right, but like, you don't have Superman just kind of, solving everyone's problem because, yeah, men were dying.
They try to explain that away in the comics, where the reason Clark isn't over there fighting in World War II is because he was so excited during his recruitment that he X-rayed through the wall and failed his eye test.
Which still, I mean, like, you're Superman. I'm pretty sure you could just walk into any recruitment office and be like, I'm Superman. There is one, a couple years back,
a little thing about
at the store, we had a...
hold on one second.
Real quick, let me just get this out.
Okay.
A couple years back at the store, we got a bunch of comics in, and there was, like, an old, like, anthology book. And one of the stories was Superman got to join the army in World War II, and he was, over there, and he was, like, picking up tanks and shit, which I didn't get a chance to read it because we weren't supposed to open it, keep value up and everything, but that was really cool.
Yeah. If you think about it, like, in the Fleischer cartoons, Superman was kind of in the middle, like, he was more, like, undercover, so you go in, you get captured by the Japanese as Clark Kent, and he'll just kind of fuck up their, manufacturing plants as Superman during the night. Yeah, so that's kind of clever. Like, hey, Superman and all that. But I don't know.
Yeah. See, what if I'm trying to think. All right, let's go ahead and what was that? New Frontier?
Yeah.
The animated movie that takes place during the beginning of the Cold War.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do a little exercise just for fun here. How do you write Superman in World War II? You can't have him just go stop Hitler and end the war immediately, but still write him as an effective hero. How would you do it? Because, like, I don't think any of the old stuff really, holds up. Like, the whole recruitment office thing, it's really laughable. It is.
Actually, there's an old, series of comics back in the 90s of Action Comics where basically it's done in the same style of Joe Shuster, and it's just kind of showing Superman, like, during that time. And it's like, there's this rally in the middle of Times Square, and there's this giant fucking swastika hanging on one of the buildings, and the Captain Nazi is just kind of riling the people up, and then Superman kind of comes down and just beats the shit out of him, and like all the people start sig-heiling Superman because, oh, it's the Ubermensch, and then Superman just kind of smashes, like turns around and just smashes the giant Nazi symbol, and gives the people a good talking to, saying, are you fucking insane? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you motherfuckers? And everyone goes, oh shit, Superman's right, and they walk away. And Lois is like, oh, my Superman. And then in later issues, he goes over to Germany and kind of like essentially gets people out of the internment camps. You see him like,
that's good.
Yeah, he's saving like camps left and right, and then it kind of yeah.
See, the problem with that though, it's just a little too disrespectful because.
Well, it's not really too disrespectful because I kind of saw it as like, what if Superman was there? It's not disrespectful. I didn't see it as that way. It's just kind of like, what if somebody could have done that? Because you have Captain America in several issues, kind of in the history of his run, kind of jumping in and saving people from internment camps. And that's just kind of a thing. It's not like, oh, we're trying to be, trying to show it in bad taste. I'm sure some people will see it as such. But it's like, what if, we could have done more? Like, this, if only there was if only there were people out there who could have done that. That would have been so much better.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that's the problem, is it kind of, not intentionally, but it makes light of the situation. That's why they didn't have him beat up Hitler, is because it's too light of the reality. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I agree with you. If I was in the 1940s and I did get to write Superman, I think this might be a story that wouldn't get published in the 40s, but maybe a way to get Superman out of the conflict while still keeping him heroic would be, say Pearl Harbor happens in the comics, and Superman's furious because, he grew up in America, he's patriotic, all that stuff, and he flies over to Germany. He breaks into Hitler's office, and he wants to get there and arrest him. But Hitler, because he's known for his public speaking and for his ability to create speeches and stuff, he tells Superman that if I get beat by you, then all it's going to do is further my cause, because the Germans are ready to listen to anybody after what happened to them in the previous war. So Superman decides that he can't aid in the conflict because all it would do is help the Nazis, because they would feel oppressed again, and it would just start the whole cycle over again. So Superman decides to go back and fight the Nazis with the power of the press, and to motivate the soldiers to expose their atrocities so that oppression won't fuel the war.
Yeah, and as he...
That's an interesting
maybe
way.
he becomes like a wartime reporter. He's taking pictures, he's writing...
I'm pretty sure they had him doing that in one thing.
Also,
yeah, I'm sure. But
and while he's doing patriotic, propaganda and real-time stories of the people the Nazis are fucking around with, he's at the same time, he's sneaking off as Superman and saving people from internment camps and doing what he can.
See, like I said, I don't think you can do that because it's too real. It's the same reason they didn't have him actually stop Hitler. It's just you can't do that thing. It's just like if you do that, it's like, then why didn't he save everyone? And if he saved everyone, then that's not what happened. You're disrespecting the dead. It sounds a little slippery slopey, but I don't see any other way to go because it just feels weird to think about.
In a retrospect, I don't think it's degrading. If you had a story right now where Superman, alternate history style, does save people in the internment camps, I think that's fine. But in the context of the 1940s, having him do that would be not disrespectful, per se, but it'd be something that couldn't last, and it would be something that wouldn't make the war easier for anyone, which is the primary reason the comics were being produced so much during the war, is because they wanted to promote the army, they wanted to save money, and they wanted to end this conflict as soon as possible. They were a motivational thing more than anything. Yeah,
I agree. See, that's part of it too. I'm trying to think of a different word than disrespectful. Not mournful might be a better way to put it, because it requires a certain amount of. You got to realize that Superman can't solve these problems because he's not real. So if in his world you have to find a way to do it that works for him as a character while still respects reality to a certain extent. So I think that's the problem with having Superman do anything.
Well, you could say that back then, really people didn't really know a lot about they're doing that to the Jews. Holy shit. I know
They knew about the ghettos.
They knew about the ghettos, yeah, but they didn't know, holy shit, he was actually rounding them up.
No, they definitely knew that the Jews were being rounded up and put into ghettos.
Ghettos, yes, but not the camps.
Well, ghettos were... the camps... The only reason the camps were worse is because they killed people there intentionally in an industrialized fashion. The ghettos were... stay here and wait to die. The camps were the ghettos were too inefficient. That's why they invented the camps. So yeah. All right, where am I going with this? Okay, so there's the war. I don't. Is there anything else to say about the Nazis during the war and the way in which they're portrayed? Okay, too long. Got to keep it moving here.
It's just hard to think because it's such a vast topic. Because Nazis are kind of the ultimate bad guy, and you can't really hint at that without exploring every angle about what happened during the war.
Yeah, and I think we'll come back to the war here and there, but I wanted to give a whole section just to World War II for a while.
Okay.
All right, so let's go on beyond the war.
Before we do that, can I just make one last point then?
Sure.
Okay. Because Milan, you mentioned something before about being kind of like a cap-off on how terribly the Nazis were portrayed, and that slowing down. I don't agree with that. I think the reason that Nazis are going to permeate through culture is because they're the things that you can constantly degrade and no one ever seems to think it's too much.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You can degrade Nazis all you want. I'm just saying...
Yeah, but that kind of mentality exists solely because no one ever felt sympathetic for them.
Of course, but the thing is, Nazis are kind of becoming funny. Nazi zombies. You know, it's a thing that's not really taken all that seriously. All
right, let's go ahead and get into this then. So Nazis after the war, because there's going to be a lot of movies that portray the Nazi movies and other stuff, but a lot of things that portray the Nazis during the war. There'll be a lot of war movies, war comics still coming out, things set still in World War II. But for some reason, and I really can't think of any other evil leader or cult or whatever you want to call it that permeated after they were defeated in a war in as the villains in different things. It's weird.
I guess
not making sense.
Nazis were the closest thing. They were comic book supervillains. They were just so ridiculously they had fucking skulls on their caps and shit. They were
I know, how did they not realize they were the bad guys? They were wearing skulls.
Well, it's the whole German thing, and they're we have, the world is made from the corpse of a dead god. It's kind of, they're kind of morbid in general, the sign of angelic presence are a bunch of crows. I'm
just saying, that one just... clearly, some guy had to be wait, we're putting skulls on? No. We're clearly the bad guys here. If we're wearing skulls on our uniforms, guys. No. Get rid of this shit. Get rid of this. As badass as wearing a skull feels when you're 14, it makes you the bad guy.
Usually, yeah.
in a war. Okay, just saying. Someone was not doing their job correctly in the uniform design department for the Nazi regime. Maybe it was a secretly Jewish guy.
Is it Hans, why do we have skulls on our uniforms? It's to look badass, It's it looks cool. People will be afraid of you, eh? But that's my just stereotypical Jewish voice. I don't know how Jewish people sound. I'm sorry.
Just do a Woody Allen impression.
I fucked my daughter. Eh. That was Italian for something.
Got married to her at least.
That makes it better. Yeah.
No, it's not like it's such a weird situation. It's not a fucking whatever. I'm not getting through this right now. What's up with the file transfer?
These are it's the 3 issues of where Superman kind of it's the whole thing I was talking about. The whole Superman during World War II and saving, people from internment
I'm not
camps.
downloading fucking 23 files from you.
Just JPEGs.
1, your connection's ass. 2, it's 24 files now. Jesus Christ.
Later on, I don't know.
Go fuck.
I'll do that later, Jesus.
You'll do that all the time because you have no one will ever love you.
I know that's not true. You gotta step up your game, son.
You know that no one will ever love you?
Yes. No, I know someone, I can trick someone into caring for me.
I can deceive them into feeling emotions for me.
Oh, yes, that's... I just made myself feel bad. Oh, my God.
See, that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm just going to try to get Milan to insult himself. So, anyway... It's really fucked up when you think about it.
Yep.
No, so it is so weird that they had such lasting power, though, you know? So did either of you watch Iron Sky for this? Because there's a line I'm going to reference right now.
I did.
I did not.
Okay. Sarah Palin has the line, "They were the only guys that we were able to beat in a fair fight." And, you know, "God to honest Nazis" is another line she has. It's just like, you can tell she's like happy, finally we get the bad guys again. Because ever since World War II, there's been so much complexity in wars now. There's been no, like, you know, clearly evil person that has no justification whatsoever for what they're fucking doing.
Yeah. Now, in a way, like, America's kind of become like, yeah, we're America. Let's carpet bomb Bosnia because reasons. Yeah. That's homeland stuff for me. Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, shit. There's, you know, what tactics do you use? There's these people. They might have done some stuff wrong, but still, it's like, you know, they're in a really shitty situation. Probably started by like a president 3 terms ago. What do we do?
Yeah, it's always like after World War II, it's like, yeah, we're America. We're the most super funded military force in the world. Let's go fight those guys who are fighting with like old 1925 muskets and that are leaping out of holes and shit. We're making bombs out of soup cans.
The Cold War really fucked things up. Because the whole domino theory and everything really fucked with shit. So just the wars, there was no just war anymore, you know? Like, World War I was a fucking European affair that got blown out of proportion and was utterly pointless. World War II was the good war. You know, there was a reason to go into war there.
Yeah, because you had guys wearing fucking black leather uniforms and skulls and literally killing people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They were industrializing genocide. Think about that. Genocide on its own was not good enough for the Nazis. They had to bureaucratize and industrialize the damn thing.
Well, they were Germans.
That's insane.
Well, fucking Germans. They're efficient at everything.
You know. Anyway, that's like, clearly World War II is the just war, and then everything else is just, you know, in this shades of gray that we don't like. So I think that's probably why Nazis have the staying powers. It's like, you know, it was the last great war that was actually done for a good reason. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Yeah, World War II kind of takes the moral ambiguity out of everything. It's kind of the war to end all wars in a literal sense, because after that, there's no country-to-country conflict. It's always like these really specific groups with these really messed up situations that just a conventional war doesn't work with anymore.
Yeah, everything's guerrilla warfare now, and it's just, you know, you gotta kill civilians, and that just makes it all so fucking messy.
Well, even more than that, like, it's just the relationship between countries has become so complex that you wonder if you really have any allies, or if you really have any enemies, or what you created and what you didn't create. And World War II is just so much more clear than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, clearly, it's, you know, these people are doing some fucked up shit. There's some more to it than that, but that's the root of it. These guys are fucking around trying to take over the world, and if they do, it will be awful for the majority of people that do not have blonde hair and blue eyes. So we gotta go in and take care of this shit now. And I think that's one of the really interesting things, and I think that's why Nazis stick around so much, because they're history's bad guys, and they earned that, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And that, like, the thing is, if you want your superhero to be a badass and like a cool anti-hero, or even not, if you need your hero to kill folk, just stick a swastika on the bad guy. Boom. Nobody gives a shit. Like, good. Fucking murder.
I think that's what Inglourious Bastards fucking proved, is you could, like, Inglourious Bastards did just about everything you could think to do to a Nazi, except literally show one getting raped on screen. And I'm pretty sure that's out there somewhere. But there's like, I think that's what Tarantino proved. You can do whatever you want to a Nazi, no matter how horrifying or gory or graphic it is. and it's okay.
It's enough.
Funny thing you should say that. Like, I actually, when Inglourious Bastards was coming out, I kind of snuck into a theater because I was waiting for my movie, and Inglourious Bastards was going on, and there was that scene with the whole, scalping in the forest, and the whole army general, like Nazi general, was like, tell us where your battalion is, and we'll let you go. The whole thing with the Bear Jew, and when the Bear Jew came out, like holy shit. Like, a woman, like an old lady came out, like, I'm not gonna fucking watch this is horrible. I'm like, an old lady left a scene where Nazis are getting killed? That's interesting.
I guess, I mean, some people will get turned off because of the gore on its own, but, like, they're not gonna be offended that you're torturing a Nazi. You can show whatever you want to happen, and if people have the stomach to watch the physical act of it, they're not going to get mad about it.
Yeah, there's very little mention of what happened to German captives during World War II. Like, we'll listen all day to, like, what happened to the Russian soldiers, the British soldiers, the French, the Americans, the Japanese, but very rarely, or if ever, do we get, like, the life of a Nazi prisoner of war outside of Russia. And to be fair, we did kind of torture a lot of them, and it's not brought up very often.
Well, I mean, that's why, like, it's blah 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 blah. History's written by the winners. There's a reason for that. And it's such a weird concept because there's all this like basic myth or propaganda or whatever you want to call it that goes into a thing. And not saying that the Nazis weren't awful people. They were. The average German soldier, the guy that was on the front line, not the SS, probably didn't know about the camps. That wasn't a public thing. People in the towns next to the camps, you can argue that they were in denial, or they just didn't want to know. So it's obviously not something that the German people as a whole had total knowledge about the entire time. It's not like all the German people were like, yeah, we're executing all the Jews, it's awesome. So yeah, you look at your average German soldier, and they probably didn't know what was going on in the camps.
There's this really interesting film about two brothers who join the SA and the SS separately. And you get their whole life, kind of like an epic movie kind of fashion, from little kids to when they're being taught by German professors and German friends and stuff like that. And you see how systematically the idea of Nazis and just Nazi politics in general are something that corrupts people on a moral level. And you see them trying to like help their old professors and stuff escape, and another brother completely in denial about how terrible the SS is. And it's interesting because if you're a Nazi, basically what that movie proves is that if you're a Nazi long enough, you're gonna want to kill yourself. And it's one of the most depressing films I've ever seen.
Interesting. But yeah, back to the point about torturing, though. It's just like I'm willing to believe that horrible things were done to German soldiers, but, pick the right side. That's the thing they always said about that's the thing I kept hearing about the damn Pope, Pope Benedict, not Pope Francis, was, he was in the Hitler Youth. Oh, everyone had to be back then. There were these things called passports. You could fucking leave. And he and his family didn't.
Well, he was a kid. Like, what is he gonna do?
Well, his family could have left, or he could have asked his family to help him, because, he was supposed to be a good Catholic boy, which meant, not supporting racism.
Catholics, really?
Catholic's a fucking Italian religion.
So, but like, if you think about it, everyone was kind of racist back then. Like, your average Nazi isn't as like, not racist as anybody else in America. I'm like...
Yeah, fair enough, but still, because the whole thing, love your neighbor isn't really up for interpretation.
Well, you ask most Christians, like, oh yeah, I love my neighbor as long as he's not a nigger or a faggot, That's how Christians work.
No, that's not how fucking Christians work.
Real world Christians.
No, Milan, shut the fuck up. This is why I hate bringing up religion, because you automatically stereotype people. And you want to know why that turns people off? Because it's fucking rude.
Is it?
Yes! It's fucking rude, and it makes you a goddamn asshole, and it's so fucking annoying to listen to, because you sound like a goddamn 14-year-old who just figured out that he's an atheist.
What?
He wants to shoot from the rooftops that he's a fucking atheist.
No, I'm not.
So it's rude, and it's annoying, and it's fucking immature, and I hate it.
Oh.
This is why every time I bring up religion, you fucking do that shit.
Do I? I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Yeah, bullshit.
No,
anyway,
I'm serious, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Go back and watch any video where we talk about religion.
Oh.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Alright, so moving on from, like, the idea of why they were portrayed and stuff.
Ian, like, I'm sorry, it's just like, fuck, you know what I am, who I am, and who my parents are, and so, yeah.
I know that,
you know?
but dude, it's like every time, and I've told you that you do it, and you're like, well, no, I don't do that, and you just fucking did.
Yeah.
And it's fucking rude, and I've asked you not to do it, and you fucking did it, and I'm trying to move on. Can I move on now?
Alright, fine.
Drama on the Geeky.
Yes, real, like, live hitting drama. This is not rehearsed, by the way. None of it is.
Steve, get us out of this hole, please.
Okay, maybe part of the reason Nazis permeate through culture, at least in, like, the 1950s all the way to the 1980s, like Indiana Jones films or, like, the Wonder Woman TV show and all that stuff, is because we had that really interesting spy culture going on. And we had the whole emergence of enemies in the shadows and James Bond kind of action. And while the Russians were enemies, per se, and we had a nation to fight, we didn't have, like, justifiable actions. And very often, American people would not support American action. So bringing the Nazis in the media just helped everyone rally behind a common threat, because it was easier than selling to them, we're going to topple a South American country because we don't want them to be communist.
Yeah.
That is so fucking... That's what's so fucking messy about it. We're gonna go into this country and fuck with their politics.
Yeah.
But why? Because they're the bad guys. What?
We're going to topple them because they're not the bad guys yet. But they might be in the future, possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
And often by trying to topple them, we made them the bad guys
Cuba.
anyway. Vietnam, North Korea.
I love Cuba as an example.
Cuba.
You know, it's fucked up because it's just like America just after World War II just wanted to be that. Yeah, we're gonna save the world, but the rest of the world's like, yeah, thanks. Like, I don't understand. Like, being Russian, I never got this whole idea of how, like, we save, like, Americans always talking about how we save the world. Like, we like, you came in halfway through, and sure, you might have done some things, but we fucking kept them at bay. You know, fuck you.
Oh, yeah. So, let me go through the actual history, and here's where we get to go back to World War II. If America hadn't come in, Britain would have fallen within a matter of months without D-Day. And then, once Hitler consolidated power in Britain, the war would have been able to be... The entire war effort would have been able to focus entirely on Russia, and once Russia was out of the war, it was over. There were, pockets of countries that were part of the Allies, but they weren't going to be able to fight the fucking German war machine. So, no, America did fucking save the world. Thank you very much.
Well, and Russia desperately needed a two-front war if it was going to survive, which is part of the reason we had to liberate France and why they needed our help there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's just, like, America's, like, it's...
The Germans got halfway into fucking Russia.
Yeah, but it's America's always like...
The Americans saved the fucking war. Thank you very
America's
much.
Always like, hey, like, look at, like, fuck you guys. You're always like, hey, look at us, we're Americans. We're gonna fucking take credit for literally everything that ever happened.
You know what would have probably helped Russia win the war without American help? If your leader wasn't fucking starving his people. Maybe 22 million more people would have helped the war effort a little bit, huh?
Maybe.
So there's that. Yeah, we held them at bay. That's a real good thing. Yeah, that's like you fighting a guy and like, you know, you're running away, letting him swing himself out, and then your friend coming in, punching him out, and your friend be like, yeah, I totally fucking took that dude out. And you'd be like, well, I exhausted him. You know, that's you fucking working on opening a jar for 5 minutes, not being able to open it, handing it to your friend opening it in a couple turns, and then being like, well, I loosened it. That's the fucking argument you just made, bitch.
I'm so mad right now. Oh my god. I'm so mad right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so mad right now. Oh my god.
Well, I guess in defense of Russia a little bit, Stalingrad was one of the biggest turning points of the war.
That's right, bitch. Oh.
And without Stalingrad, even we wouldn't have won.
Ha 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 ha
yeah.
ha ha. See, motherfucker.
Okay, once again, two-front war. Anyway. No, like, the Russian people in World War II, I honestly find them, like, almost like clowns in the way that they fought, but like really depressing clowns. Like my favorite battle tactic for the Russian soldiers was in the pilots. You know, the Japanese get all the flack for, you know, oh, they're crazy with their kamikaze bombers. You know that the Russians, to their credit, took down more German fighters than any other army. And that includes every fighter taken down in the Blitz over London. And the way they did it was by crashing into the planes in midair with their planes.
That's badass, though. Shut up.
Yeah, it's really badass, and that differentiates you from the Japanese. How?
Well, the Japanese are like, they make good food. Shut up. Don't talk shit about the Japanese.
I'm not talking shit about the Japanese. Like, everyone criticizes the Japanese for that tactic, and that's
why?
The same fucking thing.
It's hardcore. Like, I don't have any bullets. Fuck it, I'm gonna fly my plane into the motherfuckers. That's badass.
The thing I thought was so weird, like, I guess the only difference is the Japanese used it against boats, and the Russians used it against other planes, and the, like, oddly ironic thing is the kamikaze attacks could be argued to have actually, sped up the war effort because it gave the Japanese less planes and ultimately didn't do that much damage to the boats. So, one of those weird little, like, shooting yourself in the foots. I guess it's kind of more like cutting off a toe, but still. Alright, so back out of the war and into the future. So, alright, so that, I guess so far we've talked about why they were able to stick around, like Steve said, up until the 80s, or even the 90s, up until the end of the Cold War, I guess. But what's made them still stay so fucking popular?
I guess it's, the reasoning because they're just the go-to bad guy. Like, you know...
Like, do you think it's not even because they're the ultimate bad guy anymore, it's just because they've always been the bad guy now?
Yeah, definitely. They're like the go-to guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can see a lot of personification through Nazi culture, like Nazis having their own ideas about religion and having their own mythology, quote-unquote, and having their own kind of little history that's almost as fascinating as the founding of any country. So maybe the reason they're permeating so much is because kind of like you can add any good story into Star Wars infinitely, you can add any evil aspect into the Nazis and it would always work. Like, you can make them do anything evil, and it would work, because somewhere in Nazi culture, they did it.
Yeah, like that in Captain America, for example, with the Red Skull, and, like, his whole thing to get the Cosmic Cube, or what the fuck they call it in the movies?
Tesseract.
Yeah, thank you, the Tesseract. Like that, you know, Red Skull has that line, and the Fuhrer digs for trinkets in the desert. The Nazis were doing that shit, and you look at fucking Indiana Jones, and, you know, that whole situation with the Ark, not too far off from the shit the Nazis were doing.
Oh, yeah.
But minus getting an Ark that melted their faces off, that we know of.
That never happened, how dare you.
See, the one thing that I always thought was so weird about it, I wish I'd brought it up in the Indiana Jones review, is the Ark is clearly a Jewish artifact, and I find it weird that the Nazis are looking for a Jewish artifact and it's never really properly addressed, in my opinion. Just weird little thing.
That's why the Ark melted their faces off, because like, oh no, you're not, you bastard, and so they burned their faces. You know, that the Ark was inherently Jewish, and it said like, fuck you guys, you're not gonna fucking burn my people, so I'm gonna burn you.
It's not a bad point. Not a bad point. I actually could see that. You know, there you go, Milan. Get working on a Jewish accent and just dub over that scene.
It's like, ah, you bastards, you're all gonna die.
Ah, you schmucks.
Yeah, schmuck. What does schmuck mean, anyway?
Bastard. One interesting thing about Yiddish is it sounds like what it means, so... you know... What is that? Automatopoeia? Is that what the word means again? Yeah, so it's... A lot of Yiddish is automatopoeia, so that's fun. I always found it annoying that automatopoeia doesn't sound like, you know, isn't an automatopoeia. It should be.
Yep.
That'd definitely be funny.
I love how you just, like, run your fingernails against the floor, against the table like you're a fucking Dracula or some shit.
I do that when I'm thinking. I'm sorry.
Look, it sounds cool. It's like, haha, I'm plotting my plans to shoot the moon with a laser. You know, it's adorable, actually.
Did I leave my fucking camera on or something?
No.
Stupid jokes.
No, I just got, like, cameras in your house all the time.
Oh,
very
nice.
Slade Wilson of you.
Oh, yeah. Slade Wilson.
Thank you for the Arrow reference, Steve.
The Season 3 trailer released today, so you know.
I gotta watch Arrow.
What's that come out? Arrow's surprisingly good.
I didn't watch it.
The finale aside is good.
You know what?
No Nazis in that. So.
You know what? I know it's good because Movie Bob hates it.
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
Yeah, like, I want to watch it because, apparently they have, there's just a bunch of just, incredible...
There's fucking everybody.
Yeah, it's just...
Everybody and their brothers in Arrow.
Yeah, exactly. They're just, a bunch of fucking beautiful Aryan men in superhero costumes. I'm like, okay, why not?
Anyway, back to Nazis, which is something you don't get to say that often. Alright, so...
Alright, boys.
Lon's answer is interesting. What about you, Steve? Why do you think Nazis have stuck around after the Cold War?
Wait, didn't I already address this with the whole, mythology and, religion aspect?
Oh, yeah, shit, that's right. Okay, now it's my turn.
I was trying to think of, a completely different answer, and I had no idea.
I was gonna think of something while you were talking. Damn it. No, in all seriousness though, I think I'm kind of on both of your arguments a little bit with mine, but I'll try to nuance it in a way, I guess. I think that they've stuck around partly because they've just always been the go-to bad guy, and like I was saying before, there's no sympathy for Nazis because they're Nazis. But I also think that they've stuck around a little bit because you can do anything with them because they tried fucking everything under the sun anyway. So that's part of it too, but more of the overarching thing is the inherent wrongness in our modern sensibilities. And I think it's this weird, circle thing. Because a lot of our modern sensibilities are influenced by everything that we saw the Nazis do and how we just ultimately decided everything they did was wrong. So our society evolved in such a way after World War II to, not be anything like that, just because we saw where it leads if it gets too crazy. So I think Nazis kind of stick around as a villain partly because they kind of represent the old values of the world trying to carry through into the modern age. Like I was saying, they committed genocide, but they industrialized it. Which, genocide is not a new thing. Most of the time, there are all these ancient civilizations that we have almost no records of, that we just happen to dig something up about, and we're like, what happened to these people? Then we find out, oh, there was a war, and they were all killed or sold into slavery. Their culture was completely destroyed. The winners committed genocide. You look at Carthage and Rome. Yeah. That's what happened.
If you think about it, like in history perspective, we see guys like Alexander the Great and Attila the Hun as these great fucking like historical figures that did so many great things, but they fucking raped, murdered, and committed genocide left and right. Like that's what.
No, Alexander the Great did genocide.
Well, I'm sure he did like a little bit, but
No. He was very much about blending cultures.
Oh, okay. Well,
and Attila the Hun just stuck his dick in anything that... Wait, is it Attila the Hun or Genghis Khan? I can never remember.
Doesn't fucking matter. They're all the same.
Well, no, there's a 5% or 0.05% chance you're related to one. Because how much sex he had.
Well, most Russians are like you have like people.
No, not just you, but Steve, myself, anyone listening to this. There's a 0.05% chance you're related to. I'm gonna say Genghis Khan, because he fucked so much and had so many kids that there's a chance you're.
I kind of want to find out now if I am, but.
Genghis Khan was like the ultimate human, like genetically speaking. He's like the ultimate man. If you think about it, he's like, yes, I did everything that I wanted to do. I fulfilled my genetic heritage.
Well, I want to add another point to this about why Nazis may have stuck around, but so much recently we get this, especially during the Cold War and after, and even now, every time someone does something a country doesn't agree with, we say it's an ideological attack against us, or something like that, and it's usually not. It's usually always like a provoked geopolitical kind of situation that forces these things to happen. But the war with the Nazis, the conflict with the Nazis, all of that really is kind of ideological, and it's kind of the perfect war because it's all idea-based. While there's actions and stuff that go into it, ultimately at the end of the day, what we didn't agree with is what their morality was.
Yeah, because their morality was based on the weak get to conquer the strong, and their morality was based on Hitler's misinterpretation of Nietzsche.
Yeah, exactly. And now we don't get that so much. Now we get complicated issues that lead to complicated struggles for complicated geopolitics, and it's not the same as it was with that very specific war. Because before that it was the same, and after that it's the same, just not with that specific war.
Liberal.
Yeah, but that was the first modern war. That was the first and only real modern war when you think about it. Because everything now is either an advanced force against like a guerrilla force, or it's just two advanced forces staring each other down, and then it's an economic war, which actually makes a little more sense when you think about it. But no, so like there's never been a full scale modern war against two powers, like Sarah Palin and Iron Sky said. There's never been a quote-unquote fair fight war since World War II. It's all been, you look at Vietnam and Korea, those were guerrilla conflicts. I mean, if we faced them the way we did the Germans, it would have been over instantly. With the amount we threw at them. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and wars before that were kind of the same way, right? Like World War I, the War of 1812, the American Revolution, Spanish-American War, all of that stuff isn't necessarily a modern war, two conventional wars. It's usually one side's the underdog to an extent.
Well, World War I was just, World War I was a gentleman's war with modern weaponry, so it just didn't work, and that's why you had trench warfare become invented.
Yeah, but like the very concept of trench warfare is kind of an underdog kind of battle, the same way American Revolution would be, or War of 1812 would be. Like, we were face to face when it came to World War II, and we haven't done that since, and we haven't done that before.
We got drones now.
Well, yeah, drones. No, I don't think trench warfare... I disagree with your point about trench warfare. Trench warfare was really just the extension of, we'll stand here with the guns and wait for them to come to us. And both sides doing that is just like, well, I guess there's just this point in the middle that we'll just kill everybody at.
Well, trench warfare really came about because of the invention of machine guns, right? So
yeah, exactly.
it's still, with every battle, there'd be one side that's completely the underdog, because one side had the machine gun and the other side didn't, or the opposite happened.
No, just, like, you ever seen Blackadder?
No.
It's this great bit. It's got, what's his name? Mr. Bean. I can never remember the guy's name. He did this series where he was like this same character in all these different eras of history. In the last season, he's in World War I in the trenches, and Stephen Fry is like this high-ranking general. He's like, "You're gonna love this plan we have today." He's like, "Are we gonna march over the top of the trench and across the field and attack?" "Yes, it's brilliant, but we did that yesterday." "Yes, and the day before, so they won't see it coming this time."
Yep.
So that's just... Sorry, Steve's making me laugh.
Mother of God.
Steve's laughter to that joke is making me laugh. So no, just trench warfare is really gentleman's war concept with modern machinery, which is why it doesn't work. And the question I always ask about trench war is, why the fuck did no one ever dig a goddamn tunnel?
Because no one ever needed to.
Just like dig a tunnel to the other guys and you're done. It's over. I don't understand. Or just dig a trench in that direction. What is wrong with you? Well, that wouldn't be the gentlemanly thing to do. And then wars before that were, gentlemen's wars, with the exception, were gentlemen's wars. That's a hard thing to say. With the exception of the Revolutionary War, which was the first guerrilla conflict war, everything was just, we'll stand here and shoot at you, then we'll reload while you guys shoot at us, and then you wait for us to finish reloading, and then we'll shoot at you again.
Well, like, how are things like the War of 1812 and the Civil War gentlemen's wars? Because effectively this Confederacy and the Civil War was kind of a guerrilla group. It's a miracle that they survived for 4 years. And the War of 1812 is essentially like both sides carpet bombing each other, and there's guerrilla conflict on both sides.
I did forget about the Civil War in that analogy. For some reason, my head went straight from World War I to pre-American Revolution.
The Civil War is the war I don't like talking about. I feel like that one's a really boring subject. But
there's this really obscure Batman series where he's in Moscow, and
Red Sun.
No. Like it's a '90s comics run. It's basically Batman goes to Moscow, and I read, like, my teacher used to have the issues, and I can't find it anymore.
Okay, this has what to do with what we're talking about?
Nothing at all. But there's a dinosaur.
Well, that's weird. Is there a giant penny?
Anyway.
I don't.
And a Robin costume and like a bunch of other shit that looks really cool.
A giant Joker card?
Maybe.
I'm gonna work on a Bat Cave eventually in CG.
Oh, I want to build one in real life, dude.
See, that was one of the fun things I got to say while I was working on my TARDIS, is I was working on a CG TARDIS, so I could say, I'm working on my TARDIS, So
I want to dig out, there's like a little forested area outside behind my house. I just want to grab a shovel one of these days and just dig a little bunker for myself and just make it a place to keep all my geeky shit.
Okay. Alright, so let me ask you this question. So we've talked about like the Nazis surviving up into the current age, and I guess we'll get back to them a little bit more for final thoughts, but something I find weird, why doesn't Hitler stick around or come back that often?
What do you mean?
Like, Hitler's always in World War II, and he always dies in World War II, even in Inglourious Bastards. They change history, but they still kill Hitler in World War II. But why isn't there ever, modern-day Hitler, like a Hitler that somehow survived the war?
That's done every other time. The whole Hitler with the fucking his head in a jar and a robot body. That's become a whole subgenre all on its own.
I've never seen anything
I've never heard
like
that.
Look, dude,
I've never seen
any
anything
other
like that.
fucking thing to do with Nazis. In Hellboy, like Nazis and Hitler and whatever, Hitler's always in a fucking robot body with a head in a jar. Or he's a clone.
But I don't think there's anything else I've ever watched where Hitler's there except maybe that.
Are you kidding me? That's just all the time. I keep
Name something else besides Hellboy.
I don't know, like how other stuff, like movies and games and like hundreds.
Yeah,
of...
but I'm like, what movies and games?
I don't know.
I've never
zombie,
seen one.
like fucking like zombies and like blood, like swastika in the snow, like a zombie movie.
Actually, I take it back. There's this one really funny.
Wolfenstein, that's one of them. I don't.
Okay, fair. There's this really funny ass mockumentary that's about Hitler surviving the war, and he like plants himself in American politics, and he's like, they do a lot of brilliant green screen work, so you see some footage of McCarthy doing the trials, and he's got his aide next to him, and it's like a slightly older Hitler.
I've seen that. That is hysterical. He fucking does the little like dance thing with the transvestites. It's hysterical.
I don't remember that part. But yeah, it's all about Hitler cryogenically freezing himself and stuff. But no, I don't think you see that as much as I think you would, you know? Is it just because we're really like... I guess it creates this really weird question, but do Nazis need Hitler?
I think they do. I think the thing with Hitler, though, might be because there's two schools of thought of whether or not Hitler was either a genius or insane, and no one can ever agree on it. So maybe that's why we can't do anything post-World War II. Because we don't really know what the correct portrayal of Hitler would be in that situation. Like, you can make fun of Nazis all the time, you can make them do anything, but it's hard to predict what you do with Hitler outside of just being World War II General Hitler.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to take it. Because, like, one of the things I liked about Iron Sky is what would a Nazi society look like post-Hitler?
Well, because
like so much of
this new game.
society...
There's this new game called Wolfenstein. It's essentially
That's an old game.
It's an old, but it's a new It's like a remake or whatever. Every couple of years they come out with a new Wolfenstein game, and it's essentially what if Nazis won the war with the aid of robots? And it's essentially like you drive around like in Nazi, like it's during the 60s. And like essentially you're living in a Nazi-occupied England, and you have all the like it's basically Nazi like 1960s, but Nazi culture done in Nazi culture. So you have like all these real famous 60s songs done with like Nazi themed renditions, and you're just gonna like, and it's like it's a totalitarian state, but it's still kind of like, yeah, we're Nazis. And it's essentially you fight giant robots and Nazis, and Hitler comes back and somehow, I don't know. And I want to get that game. It's nothing new, but it's a shooter, but it's a fun shooter.
Well, Dan Torrey's played the new one. He says he really likes it. So, anyway.
Well, like, let me get back to the point I was trying to make about Iron Sky, though. Like, that's one of the things I found, legitimately interesting about Iron Sky, besides, fun, Nazis on the moon, was just... It's a Nazi society that survived past Hitler, and so the whole thing becomes about, we need a new Fuhrer to totally devote ourselves to. And so it's, what was the guy's name? Klackenstein or something like that, and then it was Heil Adler, or Fuhrer Adler, or whatever it was. And so it's just like really interesting that it just kind of devolved into, classic monarchy. I'm like, what would happen without Hitler? Like, because all the time you see Nazis in the future, but they're still Nazis. They still have, like, pictures of Hitler. Wouldn't they need a legitimate leader that, is alive?
Well, it becomes a neocracy. Like the way North Korea was for a little while. Or China. It's like, yeah, we still is. We still worship our fucking dead leader as though he's still alive.
No, they definitely are worshiping the son of the dead leader.
Well... They did that at one point.
Okay. Milan just got proven wrong on air.
Like that's some sort of rare occurrence.
I just say shit and hope it's right.
That's pretty much how I fucking do things.
That's okay, I understand. You'd be a good politician.
Thank you. Oh my god, everyone keeps saying that. Oh, I feel dirty now.
Especially in Russia.
Shut up, you dick! Oh my god. Oh. You guys are total dicks to me. Oh my god. Calling me a politician. I made
one joke, man.
Oh, no, Steve backs you. You're it's just you. Ian's just sitting there calling me nice names, and you're just coming out with this whole, like, oh, you're a politician. I'm like, you just got too real, bro.
That is our word. There's this great joke I love, and it requires that you realize that the first oldest career in the world is prostitution. The second oldest career in the world is being a politician. And isn't it interesting how similar the two really are?
I think I've heard that before. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, anyway. Being a politician is kind of an offshoot of being a prostitute. That, genetically speaking.
That's the point of the joke.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, I'm just trying to...
Thank you for explaining the joke.
I'm just trying to kill the joke so no one can ever find it funny ever again.
You're welcome.
What? Okay.
Alright. So, I think I've got everything I wanted to say out. Steve, Milan, you got anything else you want to talk about with Nazis before we do final thoughts?
Nazis are like bad. Like, really bad.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think I disagree. No.
Totally disagree. Nazis were the coolest.
Okay, thanks.
Oh my god, that was like such a perfect audio clip. I'm gonna like loop that for 2 hours, and you will lose all your subscribers.
Oh, I don't know. I am known to be very sarcastic, so we'll see how long that sticks.
Well, how can you tell? You're like, hey.
You do have a very monotone, so we'll see.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else Nazi-related we should talk about.
Nazis were like warlocks and shit.
No.
Yes and no.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm pretty much good on any topic, really.
Like, the thing is, like, before we end, like, the whole spear that pierced the side of Christ thing, like...
Oh, okay.
Like, with the Catholic Church kind of manufacturing all these, like, oh, here's a pinky bone of a saint, I will protect you against goblins. I mean, like, how can you, like... How did they know that it was, like, the legitimate thing? What if it was just like, here's a piece...
Because God told them.
Alright, then.
I'm reading Versopolis right now, and, like, the first book, she's a little girl, and, her quote-unquote imaginary friend is God, because she's just a very religious person, and she hears people talking about, oh, I can talk to God whenever I want, and so she's, like, she imagines talking to God, and so she's drawing herself talking to God, and it's so freaking adorable, because she's like, so you don't want to be a prophet when you grow up anymore? I want to talk about something else. Okay, the weather's going to be good tomorrow. It's so freaking adorable. Anyway, I'm enjoying Persepolis quite a bit. It's very sad, and it's not sad yet, but I know it's going to be sad. But like, she's got such a great, like, bittersweet sense of humor about her past. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right, final thoughts on Nazis.
Like I said, they're bad.
I rarely do this, but Milan, I totally agree with you.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I just got hard. Oh my god. Say that again.
No.
Oh, you're mean.
No, but I think Nazis are, like, I don't have any problem with them being or continuing to be the world's biggest bad guy. I don't think it's a cliche, because I think, like we've said, you can do anything you want with them, and it works.
They're kind of like the fun, like, they're like the, blueprint to supervillainy.
Yeah, really. And like I said, I think because of how shocked we were by their society and the similarities to our own in World War II, because we brought that up, racism and anti-Semitism was just pretty fucking normal. Like, it wasn't insane that Hitler was capitalizing on it. So, like, I think they drove a lot of the change in our society for the better. I think that's why they've stuck around as a villain, is to, like, reinforce that change. This is why we're like this now. This is why we're, a tolerant, very accepting society by and large now, and why it's not really okay to be racist or an anti-Semite anymore. It's not normal to be that.
Liberal. You're a liberal.
It's funny because Nazis have been so badly regarded throughout history, and we hate their philosophy so much that now it's a logical fallacy to compare someone to Nazis simply because that's going too far.
Yeah, like, I suppose that is something that's worth talking about a little bit, is I do feel like it gets kind of weakened in some contexts. Like,
he's a Hitler.
I don't like the...
He is a Hitler.
No, I don't like the... Shut up. I don't like the soup Nazi.
You don't like the soup Nazi?
Because, I mean, the bit's hilarious, don't get me wrong, but I don't like that they call him a Nazi. Because he's clearly not.
Well, I mean, it's just
like,
casting in on the joke that Nazis control your thinking and movement just like he does, and that's funny.
Yeah, I get that, and I get the funniness of it, but I still don't like the term. Like, I feel like it kind of weakens it a little bit.
Yeah, it makes...
Not so much in fiction, but to a more extent in real life. I don't like when someone calls someone a Nazi just because, they're like a control freak or whatever.
Yeah.
It bugs me because I feel like it weakens what Nazis are.
It takes away from the whole, mystique of being a Nazi.
Not the mystique, just the general... Like, I mentioned this in the Indiana Jones movies, in the Indiana Jones review. When Spielberg shows the swastika, you feel the weight and the power and the fear that it brings with it, right? But when you overuse the word Nazi, it takes away from the power that word should have as an insult or an accusation towards someone.
Don't you feel that just by virtue of this discussion that we're having, that Nazis permeating our culture so much that that's almost impossible to not kind of sterilize the word a little bit? Because it's going to make our way into our vocabulary. Like, we don't talk about, say something like, I don't know, like, give me a terrible genocide or terrible event. Maybe like 9/11 or something. Like, 9/11 isn't so ingrained in our culture and fiction that we see it so much that we could even sterilize it a little bit. But it could happen.
Well,
if we saw it all over the place, it would happen.
Well, the thing is with 9/11, I'm sure it will happen eventually, but it's too far away. I mean, it's too close. It's literally almost like a couple of years ago. It's still... people are getting over it, but it's still a little bit too raw.
Right, but like if we keep referencing it in fiction the way we do with Nazis, it's going to happen. It's inescapable.
I suppose so, but I still think that, I guess I have more of a problem with it as a legitimate insult towards somebody, because I don't like that it loses the power that I feel it needs to have.
Well, the thing with... Yeah, I suppose so, but the thing with 9/11 is that, I mean, people, that's the main problem people have with the Superman movie. Buildings falling over, they're referencing 9/11. I mean, no, they're not. They're just, well, I guess a little bit, but it's just, I mean... No,
it's just that's what happens when a building falls down.
Exactly.
I don't see Man of Steel doing 9/11 riffs, really.
Yeah.
But no, maybe 9/11 is a bad example. Maybe something like in the Civil War when we basically burned down the entire South. And that's still a striking visual, and that's still a striking image because we don't use it very often, if ever. But Nazis are something that we demonize so much and we use so much. How can we ever have them as villains as fiction and not sterilize the word at least a little? Like, it's just it's kind of like a catch-22, isn't it? Like, you can't always have the impact. It always has them be the perfect villains. It has to find a balance somewhere.
I suppose, but I guess
because Darth Vader is not as menacing now as he was when he first came out because we see him so much.
Mm-hmm. No, I think part of the thing is the disconnect between... Hold on, let me fucking talk. I think part of it is the disconnect between reality and fiction. Because I don't like the term so much when it's used at someone just because, they're a little right-wing or they're a control freak. Like, as much as I don't like Bill O'Reilly or Glenn Beck, they are not Nazis. Okay?
No, that's fair.
they're annoying people, quit calling them Nazis because, one, you're wrong, and two, it just makes them easier to... It just makes them feel more victimized. So, you don't need to give them that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, as far as, like, soup Nazi and stuff like that, like, using the term in fiction, I don't mind. Using it as an insult, maybe, but even then, it's not a word that has power anymore because it's a word that shouldn't have power, per se. Like, I don't know what we would gain if Nazi was still a terrifying word. That would just mean that they did kind of beat us because we're still afraid to use the word.
I don't want to be afraid to use the word. I want the word to have the weight that it...
I mean, I don't... I think it's a good thing that it doesn't. I think it's a good thing that we move past that Nazis were these terrifying evil people, and now we can throw them around because they're gone. We defeated them. They are the pure personification of evil, just like we throw around the word hell and devil all the time.
True. I don't know, I guess I think I kind of wish the word in day-to-day use in America, in American culture, my example that I'm going to pull from is American culture. I know it's not this way around the world, but anyway. I wish Nazi had about the same level of impact as the word cunt in American culture. Because cunt's not a word that's used a lot, but when it is in an insulting way, it does have a good amount of punch to it.
I don't understand,
you know?
I don't really understand your whole kind of fear of the word cunt. It's such a beautiful word. It's chocolatey in nature.
I hear people with the impact of that word, but I live in a place where that word has almost no impact.
Okay.
So I can't really relate to it.
Well, all I know is I called my sister-in-law a cunt once, and, well, the most we've said to each other is, hey, where's your mom? Down that way. And that's been, good, 4.5 years now, yay. Because I don't have to talk to that cunt.
Why is she a cunt?
Alright, so the reason I called her a cunt has to do with this whole fucking drama situation that I'm not going to get into because it's a very long story. But, needless to say, she was being a cunt at my high school graduation party. Because she had to make everything about it. So that's what that gives you kind of an idea about how I feel about that woman. Anyway, alright, so is there any final thoughts on Nazis, or are we done?
I think we're good.
Nazis are bad.
Nazis are bad. Okay. Steve, what are we talking about next week?
Okay, I guess I didn't have the chance to throw this by you guys before. But would it be cool with everyone if we sat down and talked about the film Chinatown?
If I can find it, that shouldn't be a problem with me. Milan, you cool with that?
Sure. Yeah, there's a man blowing up.
I didn't know that. Damn it. Spoilers.
Yeah, it's a neo-noir. It's one of my favorite films of all time. It's the first film I wrote a paper on, so I think it'd be fun to discuss it. Yeah.
Cool. Chinatown it is. You know by chance that on Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix, and it's also on Amazon Prime.
Okay, cool. I like to try to pick things that are on Netflix so a lot of people have access to it, Netflix or YouTube or, one of those.
Well, I know, like, Eric and Cap did a Netflix roulette on it, so I'm sure it's still on there.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm hoping it is then. That's just the thing I generally pick because, I watch it all the time. So,
right.
Just a heads up for the future, but that's cool. Even if it's not, that's fine. As long as it can be found and it's not like, we're going to review this fan film that came out in 2003 and has been blocked from YouTube because of copyright. Well, good luck getting that. So that'll be fun, though. That's one I've heard about a lot, but I've never really gotten around to watching, so I guess I'll take it off my list.
Okay, I don't want to, throw around words and make you not want to watch it, but I do feel like it's one of the more masterful works in noir.
Okay, cool.
Noir, it's noir.
I'm going to practice saying the word noir. We're going to all practice saying the word noir over and over and over again throughout the week. Otherwise, it'll turn into what was that tongue twister I had earlier? World War II, or no, Nazi war, damn it, I forget, Werewar, something like that.
Gentlemen's War.
Gentlemen's War, where they're blah blah blah, tongue twisters. Anyway, everyone, until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Madman.
And I'm Captain America, I guess.
We're gonna get you something.
Yeah, we gotta figure this out if I'm gonna stay here.
The other philosopher.
No, that sounds so ass.
One of my minors
is
political science, maybe the political scientist.
That's way too fucking long.
It
does not roll off the tongue at all. Anyway, we are Geeky gentlemen.
The intelligent fanboy.
I'm not a fanboy, though.
Once again, way too long. Way too long. Anyway, everybody, until next time. Fucking shut up!
What's wrong with the hunk?
Subtlety does not exist with Milan. I'm trying to add. He's like, let me just throw this in. Let me throw this in. Until next time, we are Geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.